Hello, this is Mark Roberts from Red Hat, and in this short video I want to introduce you to the developer experience on OpenShift and something called source to image. Now, I'm in the OpenShift web user interface here at the moment. There are a number of projects defined, but I want to create a new project for my application. So I'm going to hit create project, and I'm just going to call this one simple. It is a very, very simple REST-based application. Now, as soon as I do that, OpenShift takes me to the topology view to see the running instances of various different microservices in the application. Obviously, this one I just created, so there's nothing in there, and I can then go and add some content to it. Now, when I want to add content to my application on OpenShift, I have a number of different sources that I can use. I can create an instance of a running container image from an existing container image that could be stored in a repository such as Red Hat Key. I can use a Git repository of source code, which I'm going to do next. But I could also use something like a Docker file, or I could browse the different database services that exist on the OpenShift platform. Now, when I choose to create something from a Git repository, as I'm going to do here, I'm going to use the source to image process, which is only available on OpenShift. And it's really quick and easy for getting a developer up and running. So I want to import from a Git repository. But before I do that, let me show you the Git repository we're going to use. And over here, it's a public repository. It's under my ID there, as you can see on the left-hand side, and it's just called Simple REST. And within here, I have a source directory that just contains a Node.js file and a package.json. So I'm going to go and copy that URL, the HTTP URL. So we'll just copy that, and I'm going to paste that here into OpenShift. And I paste that in, and it validates that it's a genuine Git URL that it can understand. But at the moment, it's shown that it's unable to detect the builder image from the source code that it's found in that directory. And the reason for that is that in the root of that Git repository, I don't have anything that it actually understands. So what I have to do now is open up the advanced options, select the /source directory, as you saw earlier on in here in the Git repo /source. And now that I've done that, OpenShift has examined that. It's gone green now here. Builder image has been detected, and it's identified the language as Node.js. But as you can see here, you can see all the different types of languages that you can use within the source to image process. Now I can change the builder image version if I want. So this is currently using the latest one, Universal Base Image RHEL 7 for Node.js. I'm going to leave it as that, but I can change that if I want. I don't really have to make any changes to anything else, just hit create. So what's being created now? Well, if we click on that, the center of that, we can see everything that is happening now on the right-hand side. Lots of things have happened for us. It's created a build configuration for this particular application, and it started that running. So we have a build that was pending a second ago. Build number 1 there now is running, and it's just started off. We also have a service that's being created by OpenShift. So the service is there to manage the communication into this particular running pod. And we have a route that's been defined there at the bottom to expose this application externally. Now, the build didn't take very long to run. In fact, if we want to, we can go and have a look at the log file for the build process. We can see what's happened there. Some parts of the source to image process that have taken place for us. We really don't have to know the detail of what's going on within here, but ultimately what's happened is it created a brand new container image, which is pushed to the OpenShift image stream, to an image stream with the same name as the application. It's the latest image in there. That push has been successful within that. What it's also done is it's created a running instance of that container image. So we have here a running instance of that. Now, I have this little button here that says Open URL, and if I hit that, it opens the URL to my very simple REST interface application that's now running. Just gives us a little bit of text there, nothing particularly exciting. If you want to know a little bit more detail about what's going on in there, I can go and have a look at the pod itself. When I go into the pod, I can see some detailed information across here about the pod. So I can scroll down and see the container that's running within it. I can see any mounted volumes. I can see the condition of the pod and the stages it's gone through in its creation process. I can also have a look at some metrics about it. So I can see the memory usage and the CPU usage. This is particularly useful if you just want to have a quick look at the footprint of an application and how much it's using. This is all built in as well. There's nothing that you have to add to get access to this. We can see the environment, and I can add environment variables if I wanted to within here to configure the application. We can look at the log of the things that scroll up the screen when the application started. Here, as you can see, it's just running Node and then the JS file. And we can see any events. If something didn't start on OpenShift, this is the first place to go to have a look to see if there are any red or orange highlighted items within here where there are faults. And finally, we can have a look at a terminal, a full Unix terminal in application run from here. But the great thing about this is that I have my running application there, and all I did was point to OpenShift that source code. The source to image process is a really great, quick and easy way to get things up and running quickly on OpenShift. Thank you.